Did you know the average American home has over 300,000 items? That's right, over 300,000 items. How many of those items in your home are truly bringing you happiness? Join me on Simply Money as we look at 7 startling statistics about your stuff. Welcome back to Simply Money. Today we're going to be looking at consumerism, not realizing how much control it has in our lives, the impact it has, and how much stuff we actually have. Let's dive into some of these fascinating statistics. Statistic number 1, Americans spend $1.2 trillion annually on non-essential items. So much of our spending, so much of what we do is driven by impulse buying. We may go out and just be picking something up and we see something else that we don't need, that we never thought would need, and all of a sudden we just have to have it. We have this desire to have more. Consumerism is not only eating away at our happiness and creating stress, it is keeping us in debt and hindering us from achieving our financial freedom. Stat number 2 is the average American home has grown over 3 times its size in the last 50 years. I hear a lot about people saying, well, we can't afford a home. Prices today are so much more than they were back, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Well, I did a video, check it out here, on what the actual cost per square footage of homes were in comparison to people's income, and the dollar to income ratio has remained basically the same. What has changed, not that we're not making more, not that homes haven't gone up in price, but the size of homes. People who are now living in starter homes were considered lifetime achievement homes back 50 years ago. People just feel like they need more, and this is part of the consumerism, because not only are we needing bigger homes and feel like our homes have to be a certain size, but we're filling them with more and more stuff. Stat number 3 goes along with the increased size of homes. 1 in 4 Americans cannot park in their garage because it's so full of stuff. We have garages designed for our vehicles to keep them out of the inclement weather, yet we fill them with stuff. More and more stuff. Bigger homes, more stuff. Bigger garages, more stuff. Consumerism is eating away at our abilities. We need to take a deep look at ourselves and what have we done with our money, and look at all the things. Again, 300,000 items the average home has. 300,000 items. When I first heard that and I started researching that, that was just unfathomable to me. I can't believe it. I'm not talking here about let's go to the minimalist extreme. And for those that do that, I'm not knocking you. I think that's incredible. I commend you. And when I say extreme, I don't mean it as it's an unhealthy thing. It takes sacrifice. It takes commitment. But we are on the other end of that extreme of consumerism and having so much stuff. I think it's okay to find a happy medium. If you want to go to a minimalist life, more power to you. And I appreciate that. But for many people, they're never going to get there. But we do need to stop the consumerism and stop filling the bigger homes and the garages with stuff. Stat number 4 keeps on this same theme. Self-storage industry has grown to a $39 billion industry. It has grown by 75% over the last 20 years. Why? Because our bigger homes, 3 times the size homes, can't fit all our stuff. Our bigger garages, we can't park our cars in because they're filled with stuff. So we have to go get self-storage units for more stuff. It is an epidemic of how much stuff we have. Stuff that we're putting away from our homes because we hardly ever use it, if we use it at all. Again, I'm not knocking you if you have stuff and it brings you happiness and you're using it, but if it's keeping you in debt, it's keeping you from achieving financial freedom, you need to look at that. You need to realize, you know what? This stuff is not worth that stress. That is not worth my lack of freedom. Let's take a deep look at this. So self-storage units, a $39 billion industry. Stat number 5 is we waste $18,000 annually on average on unused subscriptions and products, things that we're not needing, and we just waste that money. That statistic is just one of those areas if you get into a budget and you take the time to track your income and your expenses, you'll start seeing those unused items, those unused subscriptions, those unused products that we no longer need. Have a yard sale, get rid of those things, donate them, at least help somebody else out and make yourself feel good about those items are being used. But let's clean up some of this consumerism in our lives and find ways to cut down on the spending that we're doing on unnecessary things that don't bring us happiness. They may bring us happiness at the moment we buy it and we feel this thrill. We get this rush. All of a sudden, we're so excited and we may use it and it may bring us happiness for a week or a month, maybe even a year. Who knows? But then it just sits and we never use it. And it's not always the big products, the campers, the boats, all these other items that we buy and then we end up not using them like we thought, but so many small items day in and day out. We go to the store and we just see something. We got to get it. We have to have it. That impulse buying is killing us. Stat number 6, 80% of the items in our home are rarely used. Let's think about this for a minute. 300,000 items in the average home and 80% of them are rarely used. That's 240,000 items in our homes that we rarely use. Let's just be more conservative. Let's just say 50%. That's still 150,000 items in our homes that we hardly ever use. How many items do we not use at all? One of the things organizers will say to do is box things up, put them somewhere. And if you don't go get them in the next month or 2 months or 3 months, set some sort of time limit, then you probably don't need it. Those are things that are just being stored. Put things in boxes, and if you don't have to go dig it out, then you don't need it. Stat number 7 is clutter can increase stress by 77% and decrease productivity by 40%. Yes, all this stuff that we have in our 3 times the size homes, in our stuffed garages, and our storage sheds, and stuff, 300,000 items scattered around our homes, those things are increasing our stress. Those things are reducing our productivity. Those are things that are keeping us not only stressed physically, but they're keeping us from our financial goals, and they're keeping us from being as productive in life. On average, Americans spend 2.5 days a year looking for stuff, misplaced things. They can't find it. Disorganization, that adds to stress and loss of that productivity. Imagine that 2.5 days, 24-hour days, are being wasted looking for stuff. The stuff that we do need, the stuff that we do use, is getting lost and confused and misplaced in the midst of the 80%, the 240,000 items that we don't use. Being organized isn't just about a control thing. It frees the mind. Studies have been shown. For example, if you go to a store and you have a list of 10 things you need and you write those down, several things happen. One, you're going to get all 10 things that you need. You're not going to buy extra things you don't need. You're not going to forget the things that you did need. And your mind's going to be free because you're not going to be sitting there trying to remember and repeat, okay, I need bread, milk, eggs, etc., etc. You're not going to remember those things because you're not thinking about them. You have them written down. You don't have to waste your brain power, your productivity activity on something simple. Writing down what you need. Organizing your home, decluttering your home can do the same thing. It reduces stress and allows more productivity. I want to encourage you to take a deep look into your stuff and how is it impacting your life? How is it impacting your time and productivity? How is it impacting your stress? 1 in 4 couples argue about clutter. How is it helping your relationships? There are so many different things that we can look at. It's not just about too much stuff. It's not just about financial independence. It's not about keeping us in debt. It's about reducing stress and improving relationships and becoming more productive. How do you feel about clutter? Here's my challenge to you and my challenge to myself. Let's find 3 items that we haven't used in 1 year and either sell them or even better, donate them to somebody else. Find 3 items. That's my challenge. 3 items you haven't used in 1 year and get rid of them. If you like this type of content, hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate you being with me. Comment down below, what are the 3 items that you picked out that you're going to get rid of? And we'll see you next time on Simply Money.